SMTN.
How's it going, everybody, and welcome to Shin Megami Tensei Network, link 343. I am your very delayed Spencer host, Presley. Today, joining me is the ghost of LA's trip past, and nobody else. This is going to be a weird episode, for multiple reasons. First off, I would like to apologize. We're going to do some quick housekeeping. Before we get into the Atlas news and all the other stuff like that. So, apologies for the delay. My plan originally was going to have an episode before the LA trip, and then this was going to always be after the LA trip, but was planning on going up a little bit sooner. Long and short of it, I have very bad luck in life, everybody. As last year and multiple things in my life showing me have happened. So, the long and the short of it, I have spent a majority of the last week and a half doing pretty much nothing but applying for jobs. So, infer from that what you will. And don't forget to go to patreon.com/SMTN. Keep the lights on. It's really important. I always appreciate everyone who does. But, personal stuff happened. Change in my workplace was not expected or asked for, but who's ever really asking? So, I've entered the nightmarish hellscape of applying in jobs in 2024. Wish me luck. I definitely need it. So that is the excuse for no episode last week. And it's like, yeah, you'd think like, okay, well, if you're not really working, then really kind of what's the excuse? I haven't had anyone really tell me that, but it's one of those things that I hope it's always apparent to you guys that even if I miss the show by like a day or a week, I really hate it. I hate missing it for any reason. My headspace has been in a really weird place recently just because hard not to like have a lot of like self-inflicted like, oh, could I have done anything differently, or why did I get myself in this predicament, stuff like that. None of the questions that are ever fun to ask, but I just wanted to start this by letting you all know what's going on. Hopefully we can remedy this and get something sooner rather than later. I do not want a repeat of last year where we have like, what was it, like 6-7 jobs all at once. It would be nice to just have a permanent replacement quicker, but beggars can't be choosers. The plan, though, show should be back to weekly at this point. This is going to be a shorter episode because we're mostly going to be talking about a little bit of recent news and also talking about the recent trip I took out to LA. Boy, isn't that some fortuitous timing. So, let's jump into news. Only 3 minutes of me being self-pity partying, but we've actually got some interesting news this week. Nothing major. First one I did want to talk about, probably not the biggest news, but I thought was interesting, was we now have the main voice cast in English announced for Metaphor ReFantazio. So, Metaphor has got a really large cast, but we've got a large majority, if not all of the main party announced. So this is actually primarily done with a lot of voice recording and actors overseas. They actually went with a totally different production company. I don't know if Atlas has ever worked with them before, but if you don't recognize the names, that is mostly going to be why. Not a lot of American voice actors, but I'm still really excited. We've got, for the protagonist, it's going to be Caleb Yen. Stroll is going to be played by Stuart Clark. Hulkenberg is played by Kristen Atherton. Galaga or Galicia or Gallic Gallica, Gallica, is Alejandra Reynoso. Heisme is Philippe Spall. Juna is Emma Ballantine. Yufa is Emily Burnett. Nuras is David Monteith. Monteith. Luis is Joseph Tweedale. Greg Chun is Moore, which not that surprising, but interesting. They were like, and the additional, very weird. You never really get that in there. I mean, Greg Chun is a really good voice actor, but it's just very funny. It'd be like, and it'd be like, guys, we got Yuri Lowenthal for the background noises. Yeah! But cool to see Greg there. And then Grius is played by Gordon Cooper. So, interesting note with Metaphor, and then kind of going into our next news piece. People may not know this, but actually, probably 2 weeks ago, by the time you're hearing this, there was a preview event for P3R, and then last week, Atlas flew a bunch of basically press and like YouTubers out to New York, and they did a hands-on demo playing the opening sections and just doing a whole bunch of in-depth, more than like, here's one demo station for Metaphor, which, I mean, kind of makes sense. I'm surprised about like how early it is, but I mean, with the fall getting more crazy leading up to it, it's kind of interesting. I can't think the last time Atlas really did something like this. Maybe P5R. But yeah, definitely not very normal for Atlas to just like send a bunch of people out to like one big destination spot for this, but also definitely far from anything crazy with the industry and stuff for it. So that was the preview event for Metaphor. Nothing crazy. We haven't heard anything come out. The embargo's not even up yet for it. I think that should be up probably within like, oh, can you tell I didn't go yet? It at least going to be within a month or so, if not sooner. So there was also a hands-on event for P3R. People got to play a build of Episode Aegis. I think it's actually the demo build that they're going to be bringing to PAX. But the interesting thing about Episode Aegis was we got some hands-on impressions. Nothing really that crazy. With it being Episode Aegis, and the answer is, most people who've played it will know, it's very gameplay heavy. There's not a ton of story at certain points with it. It's not the demo was not the beginning, and the demo was not really any story heavy part. It was very much, hey, check out the new dungeon, check out the new social events that you can do, things like that. I'm still trying to be a little bit spoiler free with the answer. I mean, we're less than a month away at this point. It comes out September 10th. We've got a bunch of new stuff that has come out for, like, the soundtrack. There's been new art and things like that. I really have kind of, like, kept my nose out of it just because I'm like, hey, I want to go into this. Because I know that it's going to be a meaty, like, expansion, but also there's still going to be a lot of stuff I've probably seen before there. So as much disconnect as I can kind of have while still covering it for the show here, I'm really, really excited for that and to check it out. The previews seem pretty impressive. People really seem to be enjoying it. It seems to just be the answer, which is nice. Now, we were wondering if there's going to be any surprises, and one of the big surprises we have here is actually we have a new optional boss in the form of Joker from Persona 5. So at Opening Night Live for Gamescom going on this week, there was a reveal trailer. We knew something was going to be there for the answer. I was thinking maybe like an opening movie or something like that. Nothing major. Surprisingly, I guess that's not surprisingly, they announced in a very, very short trailer that Joker will be a new boss that you can fight in the game. He's going to be an optional boss fight, much like when you would fight Demi-Fiend in SMT5 or anything else like that. So, notes about this DLC. You have to have the DLC to fight Joker. It has to be the expansion pass. I think it is in the answer only, but we'll see if anything kind of changes like that. We don't know if there's any other optional challenge bosses. Hopefully, it's not just Joker. I put out a tweet yesterday being like, hey guys, if you're excited about this, we need to talk. And it was really funny because, like, I'm not down on it, but I think it's an interesting kind of, like, the polarity of Joker now at this point. And I don't even know if it's just P5. I really feel like it's just Joker. But, like, people are right on one end or right on the other. They're like, holy crap, I can't wait. I love Joker. I want to see him bust out that sweet Joker gun and shoot me. Or maybe they just really want to beat up Joker. Oh, by the way, the trailer showed very, very little of the fight. All we know is that Arsene is there, and you can also fight Joker using Sentinel. And that was basically it. We didn't really get to see if there was any other sort of things on there. Does the Morgana bus come out and, like, run you over? No idea. Are the Velvet Twins there? No idea. Very, very little knowledge there with it. But the conversation around it's been really interesting. Like, I think both sides. If you're excited for this, that's fine. You can be excited. If you think this sucks, and this is a lame asset reuse optional boss fight that probably took very little effort, you are 100% right. Like, both sides are more than valid here. My thing with it, I'm kind of more neutral. I would say I'm interested, but, like, unless there's a trophy tied to this, or it's just there, I'm not really going to be that excited about it. Like, I'll check it out. I'll definitely sort of see, like, how does it live up to the challenge battles of P5R with the P3 and P4 boss fights there. But even those, like, I remember, like, I've seen some people, too, like, oh, man, people didn't care about the optional boss fights in P5R where it was Makoto and you. Yes, they did. While many people, myself included, were excited that, like, they were in the game for the first time, which, by the way, those were new models. Like, they actually had to do work on those models. From everything we've seen, this is not a new model for Joker. This is literally, like, we've been throwing the Joker costume on anything that blinks for a while now. We just had to do the copy and paste over to Unreal 4 and hope it didn't blow up. Which obviously is not how it worked, but you know what I mean. There has been a high detail Joker model for many video games. Now, besides that, again, kind of going back to, like, oh, people didn't care about the P5R boss fight DLC. 100% they did. Both of these being paid DLC, people do not like. People do not like that it is characters we have seen a lot of. Versus, you have to remember, back in 2020, with Makoto and you, we hadn't had a Persona game since, I guess you could say Persona Q2, but, like, realistically, Dancing All Night, which was like 5 years ago. And then Persona 3 had been a very, very, very long time. So it's like one of those things of, like, hey, yeah, these are characters that are, like, really, really important. And, like, there are other characters who are more recent you could probably tie in more thematically, that would be fun. Hey, you know what would be cool? Let's bring everybody. Why are we just making it one? Okay, well, if we only want to do one, what's one that's really going to hit home the hardest? And again, we only know that Joker's here. There could be more. There's nothing saying it's only going to be Joker. But it's like, what if there's other things? What if there are characters like, let's get the protagonist from Persona 1 or the 2 duology, or hell, get the female protagonist from Portable. Yeah, if we're not going to get a full playthrough with her, let's have her getting revenge and make her, like, the hardest boss fight in the game. That would be super, super sick. Now, still, we've got, like, a month left. I know it's a lot of copium. I'm excited for it. I'm not like burning any bridges. Again, like, if you're excited for this, I totally get it. But I just think if you're someone who's looking at skepticism towards this as, like, hey, man, you're allowed to call this out. Like, this is not really that impressive. But again, at the same time, it's something that they are doing to try and add value to a season pass, something they've never done before, like a real season pass. Atlas has never done a real season pass before, and immediately got tons of scrutiny for it. So, as you noticed, remember, they added new music. They're getting music from Persona 1 and 2 added to the episode Aegis and the base game and stuff with it. Like, so they're adding a lot of extra stuff that we never had before, and I doubt was part of the plan, and I think the negative reception, they're very aware of that. So, just one of those things I wanted to put out there. Besides that, though, that is pretty much it for news. I've got about 15 or so minutes of post going to the not SMT but kind of SMT meetup in LA, but I wanted to give some context ahead of time. So, for everyone who doesn't know, Spencer, why would you be so dumb and still go to LA when you have no job? Great question, Mom. I'm glad you asked. So, I planned on going to this event. I think it was announced over a month and a half ago, if not longer. Out in LA, there's a store called Game Realms. They're pretty much out in Burbank. But they do a lot of signings, meet and greets, stuff like that in their store, or to be more accurate, the outside part of their store. They have a nice little outside venue where you can set up some tables and do stuff like that with it. I've been following this store for probably 6 or 7 years. They've been there a while at this point, mostly just because I would always see them get a really nice stock of games, like Vita stuff or imports and things like that. So I was like, oh hey, this is a cool store I know of. They do fun meetup events like this, but it just never really works out. Obviously I live in the middle of America and they're all the way out in the West Coast. So had a moment about a month and a half ago where I was like, okay, if I wanted to go to this, how expensive would it be? And I found plane tickets for $120 round trip. And I was like, I've got a job, that's pretty doable. Ironically, I actually booked my tickets the day that all of the airlines were melting down. So it was one of those funny things oh wow, I picked the worst day to buy a plane ticket when all these websites are just not working at all. But I got my tickets, and then even when I got the news last week, right before the event, that I lost my job, it was okay, can't really get a refund. I'm only going for one day. Yeah, mind you, by the way, the event was August 17th from 12 to 4. I was there, I got into LA at 8, I left at 7. It was basically in LA for 12 hours. So I knew I wasn't really going to need a hotel or do anything crazy. I was going to need enough money to basically get there by taking an Uber and eating and leaving. So once I got there, because again, it was well, I don't have a job now. I really have no excuse not to go. And again, for anyone who wasn't able to go, the voice actors who were there may or may not be related to SMT5. Cannot officially confirm or deny. But we've got Casey, who was on the podcast recently, Sean Crisden, who was the voice of Koshimizu in 5, Ben Lepley, who you guys may know as Yakumo, Stuart Allen, who did Robin and Dazai, David Arago Jr., who is mostly known for probably doing Ferb, as well as, why am I forgetting his name? Oh no. Gustav, there we go. Sorry, I've been rambling too long. Christian Lamont, who's also been on the show, we talked with him, done a bunch of voice directing stuff, most recently did Unicorn Overlord, as well as was Demi Fiend. Bill Butts, who is done a bunch of voice acting stuff like Honkai and was one of the newer demons in Vengeance. And then Caitlin Elizabeth, who has done a whole bunch of other voices, but also was a bunch of demons in SMT5. And originally, Damon was actually going to be there, the other half of the Nahabino. They had some scheduling conflicts last minute, and then their spot ended up getting taken by Tiana Camacho, who was available for it. You might know from Pokemon or Street Fighter 6 and things like that with it. Not SMT5 related, ironically. But those are all the voice actors who were there that day. I got there, ironically, it was my first time flying Spirit, and I was like, okay, how bad will this first flight be? And it wasn't bad at all. It was totally fine. I had basically half the plane was empty or whatever. It was really, really early. And flight was fine. I played an obnoxious amount on my PlayStation Vita. And then when I got there, it was kind of funny because I was like, all right, the event starts at 12. It's about an hour away from the airport because, of course, I didn't fly into the Burbank airport. So I flew into LAX and I was like, all right, I could go around LA, but almost nothing is open because it's 8 a.m. And the only thing that's like going to be open is like groceries. And mind you, because I flew Spirit, I brought a backpack. No luggage, nothing, whatever. It was literally me, my Nahabino plush, and a backpack. So, got there, and I did, what was it? Probably walked around half of LAX, just like killing time. I had fun. It was nice. I got to learn a lot of weird things about the airport I was not aware of before. But yeah, not the most exciting place to be stuck at, but definitely not the worst airport to be stuck at. There are way worse airports out there. After that, I eventually ventured outside and was checking a bunch of stuff out and was like, okay, I've got like an hour to get there. Let's just take an Uber. I don't know what I was thinking because like I so rarely ever use ride-sharing apps. I was like, yeah, it's like an Uber. It's 40 minutes away. How expensive could an Uber in LA be for 40 minutes? I was like, it can't be that bad, right? Right? No, it was bad. It was like 70 bucks. It was like 70 bucks. Everyone was like, why didn't you just tell us? We would have come and gotten you. And I was like, that's a great question. I don't know. But no one I was meeting up with at the event really lived near LAX, so it was just kind of like, okay, I'll just suck it up. The flight was cheap, the drive there was fine, and I ended up getting a ride back to the airport that did not cost me $70, so that was also nice. So, not the end of the world, not the best thing either. Alright, so after taking the drive out there and basically enjoying a pretty chill morning in LA at everyone's least favorite spots to visit, the airport, ended up getting to the store, and it was funny because like I had a little bit of a delay getting there just with like traffic and like getting a ride and everything. And then what was funny was I was like, okay, I've seen pictures of their events and stuff like this before. I have no idea how many people are going to be there. Is there going to be a line an hour before it opens? Because again, it's not like this is a convention where you're going to have to worry about someone being there for like, alright, they're here for 4 hours, but you got to get your tickets, everything's going to like book up like that. Like, it's not like that. You don't have to worry about like their Sharpie going bad, so you got to get there early. So I was expecting someone to be there before me. Shockingly, I was the first loser to get there. So I got there, and pretty much immediately, it was really funny. A couple of different things happened, like right back to back to back, that sort of like led up. I was there maybe like 30, 40 minutes before it opened, shortly after 11. And I got there, and probably within like 20, 30 minutes, my friends Marcus, Kat, and they brought their friend Mars there. All met up with me. Hadn't seen them since Anime Expo last year, so it was nice to hang out and see them for a little bit. But then, surprisingly, I'd been messaging Justice, the voice actor for Shinji from Reload. I was like, hey, I'm going to be in LA. I don't know how far away this is for you. I've got a Shinji card I would love to give you, because this is a weird, like, Japanese-only set that I doubt you're probably going to ever see. I've got literally a duplicate rare card. I would love to give it to you. Let me know and we can meet up. He's been busy and doing a bunch of, like, striking stuff for it, so I wasn't sure, like, what his schedule was. He popped up, like, 10 minutes after I got there. He was like, oh yeah, I'll be right there. And I was like, I don't know if you walked here or whatever, but he showed up very, very quickly. It was really nice to meet him in person as well. He was absolutely a blast. I got punched by him. It was fantastic. There will be a picture of that eventually. So, I guess legally I should say I was struck in the terms of it looked like he punched me in a picture. But I promise it was consensual. I asked him to strike me. It was all fair game. Justice was super, super nice. I was glad I was able to give him that card. Hopefully one day I can meet him for more than like 5 seconds to leave. But what was funny was like there were some people there when it happened, and I didn't really like. I didn't want to like make it weird and be like, "Look, guys, it's famous voice actor Justice from the hit video game Persona 3 Reload." I was like, "No, no, hey, what's up, man? Here's your card. Let's take a picture. All right, let's go." And we left. He was great. We were still waiting for the store to open. A couple more people were getting there, and LaRue also got there, which was nice. I wasn't sure if he was going to be able to make it, but I was glad we were able to meet up with him. I also met up with a whole bunch of other people. Met up with Twist, who I will get to a little bit later. But Twist, thank you again. You absolutely, absolutely made it worth me going there for all the cool freebies you got me from AX this year that I missed. Max was there. All the people who ran the store at Game Realms were really, really nice. It was really funny too because when I got there, I was like, I'd been messaging some of them. I wasn't sure if like they would like really need it because like I'm not like officially there covering anything, but I was like, hey, if you see a weirdo like with a microphone or like filming things, like I'm doing this for this podcast, I just wanted to give you guys a heads up. Because again, everyone's there mostly just to talk to the voice actors, get their stuff signed, and then immediately go home. For the most part. Like there's some mingling and schmoozing and like hanging out and stuff with it. But I wanted to give the store a heads up, and so that's what I did. And besides that, the event was about to get started. There was like a line of maybe, I think we got to like 20-something people. Not a lot. Like there was a steady flow of people the whole day from 12 to 4, but not like shoulder to shoulder. It was not busy at all. And I was talking to Twist about this, and I was like, it's definitely probably less than they had expected, but then it's like a bunch of weird factors you have to think of. Okay. Is it because we can't say it's tied to SMT5? Is it because the SMT5 came out 2 months ago? I can't imagine it's because of the location, because they already have a bunch of people already do stuff anyway. I have got no idea. It was also interesting, because like for me, I'm not there really to get anything signed. I'm not a big autograph guy. I wanted to just go and see all the different people who were going to go out, wanted to shake some hands, put some faces to names who I hadn't met in person, because really, I'm trying to think here, the only people I would have known or met in person before would be Casey. Damon wasn't able to go, Christian I met at AX, and Bill I used to go to college with. So everyone else I hadn't really met in person, and especially was excited to meet everybody else and get a chance to talk and stuff like that. And kind of what was nice was, because it was so low-key in terms of, like, really the only person who had, like, a multi-person line constantly would be, well, not even constantly, but like the person who had the longest line, I should say, unsurprisingly, was Casey. Casey obviously is in a bajillion things like Ava, Delicious Dungeon, Chainsaw Man, and then a bajillion other like video games and stuff like that. Unfortunately, the Bendy crowd did not get word of Sean there, so that's why Sean did not get flooded as much. But everyone always pretty much had somebody there talking to them, so it's not like anyone was dead. It was really, really cool, though. A little bit of context in case you're curious. So the way it works is you get to the store, and it's like $10 a pop. It's $10 to go in. That's basically like the cover fee. I think that's totally fair. Everyone who paid the $10 got a raffle ticket to win one of 2 plushes. So that was cool. They were giving away the Fangamer Mothman plush, and then they were also giving away the, I think it's Mochi something, but the really big Morgana Cat Bus plushie as well. And then outside of that, there was a raffle for the SMT5 vinyl. So if you wanted to win the Fangamer vinyl, I think it was like, maybe like $3 a ticket, or you could buy like 5 for $15. I may be getting like some of the things mixed up. No, I think it might have been like, either way. I bought like $15 worth of tickets because I was like, oh, okay, hey, let's try my chance at this. I mean, it would be cool to get the vinyl. I don't know how the hell I'd get it back in one piece, but it would be cool to get the vinyl. Let's buy 5 tickets, test my odds. Of course I lost all of them, but, you know, that's fine. It's not why I was there. I was not there for the plush. But, while we were waiting for everything to get started, everyone getting their wristbands and their raffle tickets and stuff, people were still setting up in the back. I actually wanted to go and check out their store, and it's kind of interesting the way like the store is set up. There's like a lobby area, and then you can kind of go back. There's the big middle area with a bunch of glass showcases, and you can check out and see all of the video games they have there by system. Ironically, anything I would have wanted either wasn't there. Like right now, my biggest things for collecting are some PS5 stuff, couple of niche PS4 RPGs that are a little bit harder to find. But PS5 is definitely like my bigger focus. Most stores do not really have a big PS5 selection. There's not really a ton of, well, there's a ton of interest, but it's not like a Switch. It's not like, oh man, everyone's looking for the Switch. And then my Vita selection is so stupid, it's kind of impossible for me to ever expect anyone to have anything that's not like, oh, sweet, the Canada cover for MLB The Show 12. Like, that's like stuff like that with it. Of if they don't have import games, the chances of me not having the game is pretty rare. Especially because most stores, and like to be fair, Gamerland's had a really, really good Vita selection. A lot of their stock is like East Asia stuff. Strictly limited and limited run games, and I have all of those. Or like a lot of like the bigger JRPG stuff like Danganronpa, Cold Steel, visual novels like Steins Gate, things like that. I have all of those. So like the big titles like I would really want I already have, and that, I mean, hey, talked about money before. The $70 Uber ride, if it wasn't tapping me out enough, yeah, I did not need to bring video games home either. So I was fine to not buy any video games. I supported the store as best I could by buying drinks and raffle tickets, so there was that. Once everything got started, though, it was kind of funny. It was like, yeah, there's like we're lined up, but like it's like I'm gonna run to this person first. I'm gonna say hi to this person. Oh my god! I didn't really care. There was a couple people there who like brought stuff to get signed, which I thought was interesting. Because like usually the way that these work is if you want to get something signed or do something with a voice actor, there's usually a couple of different fees and things like that. I know, like, I think the big ones I would see would be like, here you can buy a print, and then I'll sign the print, and the print's usually just of like a character they played or something like that. It'll be like, here's a print with my signature, here is the price if you want to do like a photo, or like a video, or like a cameo shout out or something like that. I don't think anyone was filming any cameos there. But it's usually pretty simple, all that sort of stuff like that. Again, not a thing I normally ever do. I was there just to shake hands and be like, hey, person I've talked to on Skype before, let's meet in person real quick and talk. Everyone was very nice. Oh, I did bring some weird souvenirs / not really souvenirs. I was like, hey, what would be like kind of a fun thing to bring? And I was like, oh, I should bring the SMT cards. Because I think I've shown maybe Casey them once. I don't even know if I actually had in person. But with all of them being there and so many of them having characters that were on that SMT5 and SMT Bandai like card print, I was like, oh, I should bring these. That'd be like really, really cool. So I got pictures and pretty much showed off everyone. I think I showed Stuart his first. And I was like, hey, we haven't talked in forever. He remembered me, which was very polite of him. And I was like, hey, man, how have you been? Oh, blah, blah, blah. Hey, I've got to do a bunch of stuff, but I wanted to show you this real quick. And he was, like, losing his mind. He was like, oh, my God, look at this holographic Dazai card. This looks so cool. And I realized very quickly after I handed it to him, he's like, oh, my God, he thinks I'm giving this to him. Which I would love to give that card to him. But I only have one, because they were very limited printed and stuff for it. Bandai, please make more of these cards. Please make more SMT5 cards. But it was just so funny that I was like, oh my god, dude, no, I'm sorry. I just wanted to show you, because I figured you had never seen it before. So, after that awkward mess, made sure very closely to let everyone know, hey everybody, here's these cards of you. I wanted to show them to you and see if you were interested. That was basically it. I can't give them to you because I only have the one. I'm sorry. But besides that, I guess like kind of like the quick, because we talk about it a little bit in the clip I'm going to throw at the end of the show. But highlights from talking to everybody in no particular order. Caitlin, I had never met before. Same with Tiana. They were very, very nice. Caitlin got such a kick out of the cars. Caitlin was like, "Oh my god," because like it was like one of these funny ones of like we had almost all the demons that they had voiced, except like Neko, which was so funny. I was like, I could have sworn there was, and I mean maybe there was like back in the day with it, but I just don't have it. So they were very, very nice. Talking to Bill was very funny. Was it Bill, Ben, and Christian were all next to each other, and I don't know why the way it was set up. Someone was talking to Bill, I think, and then I obviously recognized Christian. I did not recognize Ben. I think because Ben like had either his hair tied up or something, and I was like, I just like they were so close to each other. I thought Ben had just like Ben was like Chris's like plus one because there wasn't really like a here's the Ben booth, here's the Christian booth. They were just pretty much neck and neck with each other. Literally, like in between them was the price things for the prints, and I hadn't put my brain next to it. That was like, oh my god, that's Ben and all the like stuff he had been in because there was like one Yakumo print. I literally was like, I was talking to Christian, and then it like hit me, and I was like, oh my god, this guy I've been talking to is Ben, and it was really really funny. Ben and I talked for way too long. He had ironically just come back from Kansas, and I just flew in from Kansas. Which, by the way, unsurprisingly, no one flew in from this besides me. With the exception of like the voice actors and stuff, like no one attending this flew, or flew as far as I did. So thank God. I was like, I don't know if anyone's going to be as stupid about this as I am. So I talked with Ben about Fazoli's for way too long. Ben, I will hopefully be getting on the show soon. He was an absolute delight. He was really, really fun to talk with. Fazoli's and not, but had a fun time talking to him about like some of the new stuff he had done, voice acting wise, especially like the stuff in Vengeance. Bill was funny to talk to because I mentioned I was from Kansas, and then he like looked because I was like, "There's no way this dude's gonna remember that we went to school together." I had forgotten this though when we were talking about it. I was in the newspaper department, and he was in the radio one. But we would always run into each other because there would either be like local anime conventions or stuff like that. So that was like 10, 12 years ago. I haven't seen him in forever, but we just have a bunch of mutual friends, and it was funny that I told him, I was like, yeah, as soon as I saw that he was on or a demon in SMT5, I was like, oh shit, wow, like what are the odds of that? David, I got to talk to for a little bit there with it. It was more sort of towards the end. I didn't really get a chat with him too much, but David was really nice. Let's see here. Christian was also nice as well with it. I think I probably talked about food more than anything with Ben and Christian about everything. Stuart, like I said, outside of me not giving him a card, he was there with his significant other, and they were super, super nice. They were absolutely a blast to talk to. Stuart, I was like, man, I really wish we could talk longer outside of this for it. He's another one, and Sean as well. I really want to get back on the show. Just like catch up and like shoot the shit with them. They are so fun to talk to. And Sean, especially. Sean, I had not met at all in person. We actually, where I used to live in Arizona, is not too far from where he is at, and just never really got a chance to meet up. And I think the first thing I said to him when I met him, because I was like, oh yeah, he's like, I message him, but I don't even know if he's ever seen a picture of what I look like. And I remember the first thing I said to him was like, hey, it's Spencer from blah blah blah. He recognized me there, and then like my first thing was like, dude, you are so yoked. Like he was wearing like a like Redbubble SMT5 like logo on a black tee, the most like unofficial shirt possible. But it was just so funny. Like he looked like he was wearing a shirt like 2 sizes too small, and he was just like so jacked. I was like, Jesus, dude. You look so much bigger in person. It was like I couldn't not like mention it. It was like it was very I don't know. It's like I've seen headshots of him. I know he's like pretty well built, but it was just funny about like seeing him in person. Talked to Sean, Sean again was fantastic. Sean, I desperately need to get back on the show. He is so fun to talk to, uh, and is just so goofy, man. Like he's just a really fun dude. Um, I knew I wanted to get a bunch of prints and signatures, pretty much like for giveaways or for other things like that, and I picked up a whole bunch. By the way, patreon.com/SMTN, please, Jesus Christ, everybody. Um, Picked up a whole bunch. I'm not gonna lie, when I planned on picking some stuff up, I was like, alright, I'll get like a print or two to give away. I'm not looking for like, oh, to Spencer, my number one fan, thanks for coming, blah, blah, blah. And I was not expecting those. And let me tell you, the signatures from the day started kind of normal. Like, the most normal one I have is probably like, I've got Bill's, Ben's, and Christian signature from their characters in 5. Those are, again, really nice art prints, just their signatures. As the day went on, we apparently just started getting really stupid with everything. Let's see here, with David's signature for Gustav, he's like, all right, well, who do you want it out to? And I said, well, it's not for me. I'm just going to do this as like a giveaway. And I said, well, what should I put? Say, just literally put to whoever wins this. And he did a great job. He signed that. He said, to whoever wins this, I've got a lovely print from Sean. He had one made recently just for this event. It's him and his true form slash spoilers from the ending of 5. And I was like, what should we put on this? What should we put on it for this? And I was like, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of like a spoiler, so I guess you just put like, geez, thanks for beating my game 3 years ago or whatever. So, if you're like, oh, these are very weird, nonsensical ones for it, I then got, what was it? Here we go. Stuart had this crazy print made, and I'm going to have pictures for all these posted. But Stuart had this crazy, I think it's like 11 by 17 made, of him. It's Dazai after he's done the hat reveal with true form Abdiel in the background. And it's this crazy print. And what was funny was I wanted it because like it was the only Dazai print I think that was there. There may have been like one other one, but this was like the biggest one and like a new one. And there was a little yellow sticky note on it that just said hollow, or it's hollow, or like something like that. I have a picture of it, but it was just like hollow print. And there was no holographic on there at all. And I was like looking through one. I'm like, so like, did you just put the word holographic on here to like make us think it's holographic? And he's like, no. It's there, but because the colors on the print are so dark, you can't really tell unless it's like in direct sunlight, which it wasn't. It was just funny. It was like the whole time I was like, I just thought you had cheaped out on the print the whole time and just said if you just say it's holographic, then it's fine with it. So Stuart put on there, I swear this is holographic, in quotes, and then get his signature. And then last but not least, I don't know what the fuck happened here, but Casey and Stuart were all next to each other, and Casey was also next to Sean. Casey had this really gorgeous big blue holographic, like blue-purple print, and they were like, yeah, I'm surprised no one's bought this thing yet. And I was like, that's the one print I wanted to buy from all of your stuff. And I was like, oh, I'm definitely going to buy this, and it was holographic as well. And then they were like, well, what should we sign it? I'm like, I don't know. It's not going to go to me. What do you want to do? And then we were just thinking about it, and then they were like, oh, we should have Casey and Sean do it together, like a Nahabino thing and stuff like that with it. It was like, oh, okay. But I was like, I don't know. Like, what should we put on there? Because they're not, like, just doing it towards me. And I'll get to it later, but we've got a lot of other weird-ass signature-related things that happen after. So Casey and Sean basically took my joke of, hey, Damon didn't show. Let's do a breakup letter to Aogami. So Casey wrote, and I quote, Proto-Fiend Aogami, in your absence I have become one with your source material. Thanks for the original design, but it's my time for vengeance. truly yours, and then did their signature. And then below it, Sean put the message above has been no, the above message has been sponsored by Bethel, Japan, and the Superior Beano Prime Minister Koshimizu. And it was like because the joke we kept going about the whole time was like all the signatures just kept getting longer, and we would joke about like, oh, we're just giving really long signatures because we're just charging them by the word, and like it was just so funny how out of hand it got. But my big thing that I ended up doing when I was there was like, okay, I want to bring something that anyone who's going to the event will be able to sign as like my little way of remembering how many people went out to this thing. And I had that notebook that Atlas had sent out with the original SMT5, where it kind of looks like a school notebook. So I had a whole bunch of people sign that if you were attending, but I wanted something for like all the voice actors to sign as like a like little remembrance. And I was like, what the hell could I bring? And it hit me like a week or so before. I have this giant voice actor tapestry from Ryan, the voice of Kansu, and been on the show. Super, super nice guy. Everybody knows him. Ryan Colt Levy. And I had that since TaioCon, maybe, 2-something years ago, like right before Chainsaw Man started, or like right as it was starting. And Ryan was going to give this away at TaioCon, then ended up forgetting, then just gave it to me. I was like, alright, I'm going to think of a good use for this one day. To moving later, I thought about it because I was like, when I heard that this event got announced, I was like, oh my god, we got to get Ryan. Because I know he's nearby, but he had another convention going on. So I was like, oh, okay, whatever. So similarly with the Casey signature, since Damon wasn't there, I was like, okay, well, everyone here for the most part knows Ryan. So then let's bring Ryan's banner. And let's just get all of them to sign it and graffiti it as much as they want as their signatures. Because on it, it's a bunch of characters that Ryan had done. There's Kansu, there's Rhodey, a whole bunch of other people he's done. And I was like, oh, we could all have him sign like Kansu's chest or Ryan himself. I thought, I was like, oh, well, we'll most likely just sign Kansu, because Kansu's already pretty big, and we got about, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 signatures on Kansu. And then once I got over to Stuart, Casey, and Sean, we just decided to really ruin this whole thing. We've got now a picture. Just looking at it now, it will be the show like thumbnail of this. It was a choice. Let me tell you, everybody. We've got Kirby sucking on his nose. Casey drew a Trevor cut here tattoo on his neck. We've got a little Puchita coming out of his chest hair. It's a lot. It's a lot. It was really funny. It was really it's really stupid, but it was just such a like. It just got so out of hand because they were just like, "Oh, we're gonna like really, really lay into this and start writing on this thing," and I was like, "Guys, there's only like 9 of you here. Like, how have we already drawn this much on him?" So that was delightful. Sean probably might have my favorite signature next to the Kirby and the Puchita. Sean put on there, in quotes of me saying this thing has been rolled up in my closet for 2 years, ... So, all the voice actors were absolutely great to meet and talk with, and being goofballs with everybody. I could not have asked for a nicer time with them. That was a much-needed distraction that I was very aware I needed. Besides that, afterwards, I was like, okay, it's like 4 o'clock, let's bail and get some food and hang out with the friends and stuff. And we were all down to do that, and they were like, oh, well, what time's your flight? And I'm like, oh, we got plenty of time. It's like 3 hours. Like, dude, it's fucking LA. It's going to take you like 2 hours just to get there. And then you got to get there before your flight early, because they're all grown-ups and I'm not. So we were like, okay, well, what can we eat? and it was like, all right, let's just look what's nearby, and we'd settled on American, so it was like, all right, Spencer's in LA for one day, where should he eat? We're like, should we go here? Should we go here? Like, what should we get? What should we get? We ended up on Shake Shack, place I could literally eat here anytime I want, but a couple of us hadn't eaten there before. I'm not gonna lie, I was so hungry. I destroyed that. That was probably like the best Shake Shack I'd ever had in my life. And it was nice. We just sat down, ate for like an hour, and then had the most horrendously long drive to the airport. Which, Kat and Marcus, I cannot thank you guys enough for driving me and saving my ass to get there for it. Um, I talked about this way longer than I thought I would. That was it. That was really fun, though. I might do like a little vlog with some of my footage and try and put that on the YouTube channel as well. I've got some stuff with it, but I've got a whole bunch of pictures. So I'll be posting the pictures and everything else, definitely at the very least on Twitter / on the Facebook group. We've got a bunch of cool stuff to give away. So we're kind of winding down. I'm going to, basically the outro of the show is going to be like our 15-minute conversation I had with Mars, LaRue, Kat, and Marcus and myself after we all ate, pretty much right before heading to the airport. We talked about how was the whole event. So also that definitely gets off the rails and stuff like that. But wanted to give a really big shout out. Oh, and Twist as well. I almost forgot. Twist, because of the donation for the SMT5 Vengeance bag. So if you guys don't know, if you went to Anime Expo this year, they had a bag that you could get that was SMT5 Vengeance themed. It's got the box art. It's like one of those big, kind of like oversized convention bags you'd put around your shoulders. Really, really cool. And I've got one of those extra I want to give away, so that will be this month's Patreon giveaway. And all you have to do if you want to win it, you just have to be a patron and respond to, probably it'll go up the day after this podcast. I'll make a thread that just says, hey, would you like to get entered? If you live anywhere, it's open worldwide. Just support the show for at least $1 or more. You get a chance to win it. And yes, besides that, we're going to wrap up, kind of. Let's pull up, speaking of patreon.com/SMTN. Thank you guys all so much. Like, seriously, as you can tell, probably more so in the beginning of the show versus now, I have not had the best week and a half. I've had a really, really fucking tough time. Really, really been a big stick in the mud, which I also do not like being. But hanging out with a bunch of you guys in LA and doing stuff like this really, really did boost my spirits more than I thought it would, but I'm glad I did. Do want to give a big shout out to all of the patrons on patreon.com/SMTN. You guys really do help support me in so many ways, and I hope you all know that. And so, as always, you can get the show with the benefits and everything else like that at the $1 and up tier. That's all. That's pretty much just the, hey, if you can give $1 a month, that really goes a long way. For everyone else who goes above and beyond, the $5 and up executive producer tier, all of you, seriously, thank you all so much. So, John Massey, Michael Wilson, Bell Chill, Cosmic Lumi, Budweiser Tall Cans, Carlos Hernandez, Cross Ren Ren, Winnie, Jagengus, Gorosero, Solaire, Mirth Mouser, Stephen Yip, and Patrick Dishart. Thank you all so much. Really, really helps, especially right now. I want to try and do more. I want to try and do weekly giveaways instead of monthly, just to try and make up. I've got a couple of stuff stockpiled up, and also as a bit of a way to hopefully encourage more people to want to support the show, just because I'm going to need the support going forward in the next month especially. So, thank you all for listening to the show. Don't forget to check out all of the socials for more pictures and videos. Besides that, I think that's just about it. Enjoy the outro. I'm sure it will be stupid. And do not take anything we say too seriously. We had been goofy and hot and sweaty standing out in the sun all day. So, thank you all so much for listening. I will see you all next week for a more normal episode. I want you all to know, I thought this was going to be like a 30-minute episode tops. I didn't realize I was going to ramble for an hour by myself. So hopefully you enjoy it. I will see you all later. Goodbye, everybody. So, before you get out of here, we're going to get our blurb for you. So, Larue's here. We just finished eating. We got out of the meetup. I don't know, I guess, like, meet and greet? It's kind of weird. It's like...
Yeah, it's like a meet and greet, I guess.
It's like, imagine a convention without the convention. There's a lot more video games, but it's a lot windier and hot outside.
Mm-hmm.
So, it was both of our first times at Game Realm. Yes, I'm so, like, in digest mode. I'm like, is that actually the name of the place? We went there. It was you, me, Kat, Marcus. He waved. He doesn't know how audio works. Twist and Mars. You had to drive, what, like 40-something minutes to get here?
40 minutes, yeah.
All right, initial hot take. Was it worth it? Are you glad you went?
I was glad I went, but mostly just because it was fun to hang out.
Yeah.
Is that weird? Is that corny? The power of friendship, but, you know.
The power of getting paper signed. How did do you still have your thing on you?
My Shikishi?
Yeah. Where did they sign on it?
Right on the side. They didn't want to damage it or whatever. I'm like,
they didn't want to write their entire memoirs on there like my print.
I was like, this was like I think I spent $5 on this. So,
really?
Yeah, because it was a raffle. That's why. Not raffle,
I would be scared. So what was funny is when I showed them the cards, I was like, all right, guys, don't sign the card. You're good. I was like, I don't know how much of the art would be visible after the card set with it.
That's true.
So. Out of everyone, do you get to talk to anyone besides Casey?
No.
See, dude, I immediately had to go up to Sean because I hadn't seen Sean in person. I was like, dude, he is so yoked. I did not realize.
That's the person next to?
Yeah.
Yeah. He was very, very buff. I'm like, oh man, look at him.
How
much
Sean,
is that?
Coach me.
I wouldn't.
Nice.
Mr. Prime Minister.
That's Mr. Koshimizu to you.
I
We're recording,
correlate
by the
people
way,
with,
Kat. We're doing our quick takeaways before LaRue has to leave. So, anyone there? You were either surprised, any of the I was surprised some of the prints they got commissioned. I was like, some of them were really
Very
solid.
Nice. The one for forgot his name already.
Stewart?
Yeah, that one that's probably the best one that I saw.
Yeah.
I was tempted to get it, but I'm also like, I'm not a big voice actor culture person. That's probably why my big takeaway was it was fun to talk with people that I see once a year.
Yeah, because we were talking about it with Twist earlier. I would have felt not like I wasted my time here, but I would feel so guilty because I just want to talk to everyone there. Mm-hmm. But if there's an environment, if it's a Comic-Con line, you never want to stay any longer than that. Oh, is that the one you can bite into? No, I think they fixed those.
That's just the bee bottle.
Oh, yeah. But you've seen the ones that look like an apple you can bite in, right?
No.
You need some napkins?
there was a TikTok trend of it's an apple juice that you bite into the outside and it sounds like you're biting into a real apple.
That's actually pretty cool.
So you got your Shiki board signed because all of us are probably much like you guys probably more. You guys get more stuff signed at conventions probably than.
No, I don't
almost
care
never
for it. I don't care for it.
So, since none of us are really big into the signature game with it, did you still enjoy coming out here? Even though the whole point of it is for them to come out and get stuff signed with it. Are you glad you went?
Hey, I got some good advice.
Yeah,
I'm good.
And I do like paying for things. I like supporting them because I get how brutal the industry is in terms of them getting paid. So to me, spending $40 on a signature was worth it.
No, and I mean honestly, I think ironically the only thing that I'm I definitely didn't need to buy that was the raffle tickets. Yep. But again, that was
anybody want gum? It's grapefruit.
Oh yeah, my big thing was
it's xylitol gum, which is supposed to be good for your teeth.
I want to give back to the store because I've been following Game Rooms for a while.
I'll get some in a bit.
But also, I don't want to buy a $200 copy of Devil Summoner 2 to
when they were advertising that, I was like, oh.
No, hey, dude, that's a fair price though. That's what it goes for.
I know that's the market price, but I was like,
bro, I bought it 12 years ago.
I don't think it's come down from around that price.
No,
it inflated for around in early COVID. It was almost $300.
Mm-hmm. A lot of things inflated.
I was debating on selling mine, and I was like, nah.
That's why I was happy when COVID started to lessen in the sense that people stopped being rabid collectors. I was able to get Cubivore for not $200.
We gotta go back in time for all those people who sold their Go-Go Hypo Grinds for $60.
Yeah, those are the
You know
people
what it
like
reminds me of?
they need to give me that game because I still don't have it.
Have you ever played it?
I haven't played it.
It's good.
I talked to. Did I tell you that I talked to the art director? Not Kay.
I was gonna be like
not
the Ren and
Kay,
Stimpy guy.
Yeah, no.
Oh yeah.
The guy, the art director for the game.
Are you okay? Do we need to like? Did Chris K come find you?
Is his name Chris Kay? What is his name?
I thought it was, isn't it?
I don't know. Either
Chris,
way,
it was Chris Chan. We'll just call him
Yeah.
Chris Chan.
Either way. And like apparently there was like it was essentially a random idea that happened. It wasn't really like it was organic. Essentially, they were like, "Oh, we should do something American." And
The weirdest part is that Atlas published it more than anything.
and only in America. There's no Japanese
Japanese
release. I was like,
Wait, for what?
For a
Go-Go
Go-Go
Hyper
Hypergrind.
Oh.
And I want it for my collection, but I also want to play it, and I also want to make a video about it.
Honestly,
That's the only reason why I reached out to.
outside of the animation company who's got some ties into it, I feel like that wouldn't be an impossible re-release game one day.
It wouldn't be.
Because there's not like a lot of licensed music in it.
I don't know what's holding them up from doing that, because
All the other 9 games they don't want to port.
that like DD.Hero, come on.
Oh, that's FromSoft though.
Oh, it is?
FromSoft developed that.
Oh, I just assumed it was that.
No, so let me tell you about Demon Souls. Have you heard about Demon Souls? A seminal Atlas game.
Yes, that and what is the game that's literally Men in Black but ghosts?
Oh, R.I.P.D. the game.
Yeah,
One of their worst games ever.
No,
I found
what
out
is
recently. I found out they made a sequel to R.I.P.D.
Really?
No Ryan Reynolds and no Jeff Bridges. So why am I there then?
Yeah.
But yeah, glad I went. Don't ever ask me
Oh, yeah, I
how
forgot
much
we were
it's been.
talking
Yeah, we're still recording. That's how you know it's the podcast. You just start talking about R.I.P.D. and then you don't know what's going on anymore.
Yep.
Kat says some things in the microphone I have to edit out, and then we're all here. So I know you got your one print from Casey Cat. Did you guys? What else did you have anything signed or no?
The ring.
Oh my god! So like a part of me, I think what I'm gonna have to do for the episode thumbnail for this.
That thumbnail should be that.
Well,
bean.
it's going to definitely be the horrifying bean that you have, but then also the nightmare tapestry. Because like I really was thinking, okay, tops, they're going to draw some silly doodles on Konsu's nipples, and maybe someone will draw on Ryan. I didn't realize we were just going to turn Ryan into like, what's that like, where you'd like have the static stuff, like with like the little like magnet pen. It would be like a bald dude, and you could doodle on his face.
You just bring the static.
Yeah,
yeah.
I feel like we did that to Ryan's face with this tapestry today. We gave him a tattoo. Kirby sucking his nose off.
Hey.
People like
Kirby do a lot for $1.
But yeah, so it was solid. My wife will not believe about half the things we did. She's gonna be like, I don't know, that doesn't seem like you really did that with it. It was cool. Oh no, I'm forgetting his name. Please remind me.
Max?
Yes, Max showed up. What was funny was because we were literally just talking about you when you turned the corner.
And we were talking about you. He was like, "Oh, do you know Spencer? I need to find him." I was like, "Yeah, I know Spencer."
I don't know. The funniest thing was like I loved that like. Because, like, that makes more sense because I was like, I don't know how you find me in a crowd. I am the most blending in white guy at an anime or game event possible. Yeah. So, this was fun. Was it worth flying out for?
Maybe.
Would you have flown to Kansas for this? That's the question.
No.
Did you want to at least lie to me?
No, I don't
We
like.
do.
I don't like flying out. I don't like flying.
Dude, the weirdest thing. So I don't know if any of you guys got to talk
take an
to.
edible.
If any of you guys got to talk to Ben.
Legally, I can't with my job. It's
Take an edible
federally
and don't tell
mandated.
them.
You get drug tested randomly.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I talked to Officer Ben Lepley, who weirdly enough was in my neighborhood like a week or two ago for a wedding.
Oh.
And then somehow instead of talking about SMT, we talked about Fazoli's for like half the time.
You know the best things about knowing Megaten people is that you can have conversations that are not related to Megaten
Oh my God, I like
and
those.
enjoy it. Those are my favorite. Like literally, like that's why with Max we talk about Omori, we talk about Madoka, we talk about like just normal things. Well, I mean, I guess those aren't normal by normal.
I mean, Omori's pretty popular.
They're normal by non-Megaten people now. So it's cool to engage in normal conversation.
Sorry, I'm a fucking loser.
I
don't know what else to talk about. Okay.
You could talk about Bats Maroon.
Yeah, you showed off your VTuber model.
I did show. Casey was so interested.
Can I
in
interest?
It's because apparently they're pretty knowledgeable about like coding, but also modeling. So
Well, no, the reason
I didn't
is
get to
because,
show you. Sorry, you go.
Have you seen my potato?
So when I pull it up, Casey was like, I have something for you. And I was like, what are you bringing to me? I forgot we talked about this when they were on the show, because they do a lot of mods and stuff. But when Casey does mods,
I like that.
or we'll do like code
problem
changes.
Move your head. It's googly eyes.
Oh my God.
It's a Muppet.
It's a Muppet.
Okay, I don't want to do like someone.
So, what was it? Man, the meth heads were early on it today. But like the funniest thing with it was Casey was like, "Oh, I got something for you," and we were talking about because he was working on a mod for Tony Hawk, and we were talking about it. It was like, "Oh, hey, let me know when it's done." And he hands me a disc, a PS2 boot disc with the mod on it. It's like,
cool.
"Oh, hey, here you go." I was like, "All right." So yeah, that was also funny. And I think it was either Primal Rage 1 or 2. I forget which one because he did a dub for it.
Oh, yeah. How was the
The
pizza
chomping
out of New York to California? How was it? So it was
It was
California.
Kansas. It was
Oh, yeah,
Kansas.
it's
Whoa.
Kansas. Wait, no. Why would Kansas be higher or lower or no middle and California be lower? California clearly would be higher than Kansas in terms of pizza rankings.
Who's the bigger like
I was just
food
thinking
snob though?
between.
Oh, you're thinking
I was just
actual-
thinking distance, man.
I don't know. Now I gotta go to Kansas and try some famous Kansas pizza. You gotta.
We get a Little Caesars. That's about it. We have really good Little Caesars though.
Hey, if they're actually
pizza.
$5,
Yeah.
then yes. So,
Well,
yeah.
$5.99, but still.
$5 is like
For two slices.
Not bad.
And a drink. Oh, do you get the salad? Oh no, wait, that was a different one.
That's for number 2.
What were we talking about?
We were talking about if you would have done the like, how far would you have traveled for this? Probably not cross country.
How much was the plane ticket? That's
$120.
Okay, I would fly out for $120.
How about the $80 Uber? Is that making you feel any better?
Well,
Dude,
okay,
the
so-
weirdest thing, Casey guessed to the exact amount how much my Uber was from LAX to here. It was very creepy.
I will. Well, I mean, they travel enough that I feel like they would know. But at the other side, I'm like, you have several people that would drive to pick you up.
Everyone, no one's like naturally on the way. I think the closest person would have been Twist, who already brought me a lot of stuff for free, and I was like, I'm more than fine to sit in
But-
some dude's
But
Prius.
imagine just giving $20 worth of gas versus $60 or $80.
I'm sure-
No, Keith was on the way because he's in Long Beach.
That's true, but I guess I didn't know when you were going, and I didn't want it to be like, hey man, you're my ride. I didn't need to be the first one in line.
You didn't want
Brother,
to be like, yo.
if I
me
had
hop on.
known how
Yeah.
much the Uber was going to be, I would have been at LAX at 10.
Yeah, I would have literally like.
To be fair, I also did not know it was going to be that much till I was there.
I was
I
literally
kind of had a
watching.
feeling.
Like I was just sitting at home watching this this dumb zombie show that I've seen before called Z Nation. It's a really
I've seen it.
It's like the trashy zombie show that I just love to death. And I was like, let me rewatch this. And that's what I was doing when I could have just went to LAX and picked you up, just so you know. Could have.
We'll know that for AX next year.
We'll watch.
No,
Z
I'm
Nation
picking you
while
up for
picking you
LA
up.
from the airport.
Well, remember
because-
though, because of that though, we got to update the Mary scale of bad driving.
No, but if I pick you up, I'm still forcing you to give me free
LAX.
tickets for stuff. So
Oh,
I'm
you should apply for industry next year too.
Yeah, no, I'm stealing his industry
Oh, you-
badges again. Yeah.
Borrowing.
Because I'm gonna do it now that
So
I know.
because I know he will never listen to this, especially this far, and also he was in New York for free, so he can piss up a rock. It was so funny when Gnarly found out that I had extra industry badges and gave
like,
it and
"No."
gave it to yeah, no, exactly, literally, and I gave it to Cat and Marcus, and he was like, "What? You got industry?" I'm like, bro, and remember. Because I think he had press badges or something. Like he was like, but it was just that one thing. It was like, it's so funny. I'm like, bro, it makes no difference.
Do my impression. Come on, Spencer.
Come
that's
on.
not fair.
I don't know why it's so fun to do a Nyali voice, but I just like to say no in his
I
voice.
came all the way
No.
from Kansas like you.
Yeah. So we're gonna do it. We're gonna all do our best Nearly impression and we'll be very passive aggressive to Atlas on Twitter for not flying us to New York.
You know, I would be mad, but it was for Metaphor, so I'm like, although I'm interested and I would have wanted to go, if it was for Megaton, I would be like, all of you guys are dead to me, and I start blocking all the...
I'm gonna break an embargo.
No, don't go into your hater. No, don't do that.
I'll break the embargo and tell you what it was, because that actually made me glad I wasn't invited. It's
just
straight up the
demo.
no, it's the opening.
The opening.
It is multiple hours of the opening of the game, and I'm like, I wouldn't have wanted that.
Yeah.
For what? For
Metaphor.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I knew that it was some part of the opening. I just didn't really know much because no one wanted to be specific, and I was like, that's fine. You don't have to tell me.
It's all right. I like breaking embargoes when I'm not invited.
But did they give them anything? That's the thing that matters to me.
Probably.
If they didn't get merch,
they got stuff. You know, they all went.
Got the book.
No. Here's what I'm imagining. They all went to do the group demo, and they all went down to the nearest eatery, chop shop, favela place in New York. They all got a bacon egg. They all went down there. Let me get a bacon, egg, and cheese after this Metaphor.
They got chopped cheese in New York.
Dude, Aki had never made more sandwiches that day than the Atlas Press.
Hey, can I get a chopped cheese the Aki way?
Yo, man, Metaphor, the Aki way. Let me tell you, don't forget.
I've actually been in that store.
It'll go free for listeners
It's
from
in
Dairy
downtown. It's in downtown. It's really
Okay. So we're gonna stop our 16-minute of ranting on the side.
Oh yeah, there's supposed to be an outro, right? Or...
Intro, outro. I might just slap this right in the middle, so we'll never see. So
nobody listens to it.
Yeah, there will be no edit, so everything will be in here. So. All right.
oh
right.
lordy.
All right. So
you added your secret.
All right, you gotta say bye.
Bye, chat.
Bye, chat. What are you, speed?
Follow me on Twitter, thanks.
Adios, amigos. Peace.
I'm Gnarly. I'll see you in the next video.
Lick my balls.
Dude, you just lost your invite to the podcast. He was gonna record the next one next week.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh no!
I just want you to know.
I'm not mean. I promise me and Gnarly are friends.
It's true.